it's Jamie from Play-Doh and Preschool. Happy Friday! Gemma and I set up our week 3 centers after school, and then she had to scoot home and I decided to take a little lunch break, so that's why we're on a little bit later. But thank you for joining me. If you're here, let me know how your week went and how you're doing. I've been still thinking, you guys, some of you in Florida are still off of school, aren't you, from the hurricane and the electricity loss? You know, we're still thinking about you guys, so hi! Thanks for joining us. On Friday afternoons, our plan for this school year is to share with you how we have set up our learning centers for the following week. So every Friday after school, Gemma and I take our scope and sequence plan, which is the thing that we've been working on, all of our center plans for the year, and we just go down. We're on week 3 next week, the 18th of September, and just check off all of the different areas. We've set up our dramatic play. Hi, you guys. We set up our sensory area. We set up our literacy and our math table and put something new out in the blocks. If this is one of your first times joining us, I kind of want to just tell you that our students do centers from about 9 to 11. They have about 2 hours of uninterrupted playtime at centers every morning. We think it's really important for them to be able to choose their own center to play there as long as they want, or sometimes as short as they want. It's only the second week of school, so we've got a little bit of that. And we do not relegate, you know, there can only be 2 kids here, there can be 4 kids there, you get 15 minutes, you have to switch. We don't do any of that. We really feel like kids, preschoolers, can be in charge of their own play and in charge of their own learning at those centers. We try to set up centers that are irresistible, so they'll want to do them. If we find that kids aren't doing a certain center, then we feel like the burden is on us to try to make that center more exciting, more enticing. Because what happens, or what we find, here's doing a weird thing. What we find happens is that if you force the kids, you have to stay at blocks for 15 minutes. Time's up, clean them up. You have to sit at the literacy center for 10 minutes or whatever the time is. That the behavior problems in the classroom escalate. Really, they kind of go through the roof, because when kids are not, we take those choices away from them and we take their free will like that away from them, that's when the behavior problems really increase. So not to say that we don't have behavior problems, because certainly preschool is a place where we're teaching social emotional skills primarily, especially at the beginning of the year. But for the most part, our students are engaged and we don't really have like a lot of behavior problems, so to speak. I mean, of course there are things that we're working on, but for the most part, because they're free to move and learn at their own pace, Gemma and I meet them there. We do pull kids to do art, or, you know, if they want to do art, we have a teacher there for some of the time, but it's a fairly child-centered classroom. So I like to think of it, and I explained it this way last week too, as sort of like at a children's museum where you have different exhibits that you can visit. And that's kind of how our classroom is set up. We've got different exhibits that the kids can visit. And we, of course, encourage them and meet them there and talk with them when they're playing there, but we don't force it. You have to stay here for 10 minutes. Beep! You have to go here for 10 minutes. Because we just don't think that's the best way for them to learn. So anyway, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek at what we have set up for week 3. If you're interested, or if you care, if it helps you, you can download our exact lesson plans. There's a link for them in the video description. I'll give the disclaimer though that these are just our real actual lesson plans here in Virginia, and so I can't make any changes to them. A lot of the activities are hyperlinked, so if you click on it, you can see photos either from my Instagram or from Facebook or from my website of what the activities have looked like in previous years. And then every Friday we'll try to give you a peek at what we have set up for the following week. So, hi you guys! Look, I didn't realize you were in Austin! So I'm gonna be in Austin in February. Oh, email me, we've gotta figure that out. I would love to meet you. Hi you guys, all you Texas people. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so since I'm on my own, this is gonna be a little bit tricky, but I'm going to pick up the camera and kind of flip it around, and then I'll narrate. Sorry, it's not that exciting. The different learning centers that we have set up. I think I'm gonna show you, I think we have like 6 that I'll kind of just glance at. If there's anything specific that you want to see or any questions that you have, you can just leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. So, okay, here goes. I'll show you first where I'm sitting, which is a large, it's like a 6-person round table. When am I coming to Chicago? I don't have a Chicago plan. Hi, hello from Tokyo. Whoa. Hey Miranda, I grew up in Pittsburgh in the North Hills. Yes, I definitely want to coordinate. Oh, this is so exciting. I'll have to tell you guys soon about the different workshops and things that I have planned for this school year. So, okay, I'm going to show you first this yellow circle table, which is usually literacy, but we also incorporate fine motor. And this week it's just a fine motor center. So let me flip the camera around and see if you can see it. Okay, so this yellow circle table right now, we've got straw beads. And what we're doing here is just encouraging the kids to lace these beads on a string. We've already cut these straws up because we're going to do it on Monday, and we haven't introduced scissors yet. So these laces, let me see if this will work. Will this work? No, hold on. I'm still in desperate search of a camera person. Do you know of anybody who lives in Virginia who wants to be my, ooh. Ah, Gemma, I miss you. Who wants to be my cameraman? I don't know if that's going to work or not. So these are called Rex laces, and the awesome thing about these are that you don't have to put a piece of tape or glue or anything at the top, and they're kind of firm. And the kids just bead the straws onto their lace, and we have taped them down. You can see I've kind of taped the laces down so that they don't fall off. And when they're done, we just pick it up, wrap the tape around, and then they can take their bracelet home. So this is our fine motor center. I think I should have had the camera. I'm a mess with the camera. Sorry, I hope you could see that because I couldn't see the comments. Here is what we have in our sensory table. So and there's our little guinea pig. He's having a salad for his lunch. It is a little bit tricky. It's hard to get used to doing child-centered centers. I would say it gets worse before it gets better. Yeah, we'll have to chat about that in a minute. So our sensory table, we keep the bin filler the same for the whole month. This month it's white rice, dry white rice. And last week we had funnels and scoops. This week we put in some letter rocks. So what am I gonna do this? Oh, I see I need Gemma. We're not good without the team. So we just have these rocks, and I just painted lowercase letters and uppercase letters in there. We've got all the letters of their names. So I need to put some letter cards or some name cards in there, and that they can just find the letters for their names and just try to make their name in the rice. So they're kind of digging for the rocks and looking at the letters, identifying the letters, and it's really good for what they call like heavy work because they're big river rocks, and so the kids can kind of pick them up, and it's good for their muscles and good for heavy work. My fingers are crossed that we don't have any throwers. I know in my older class nobody's going to throw them, but we'll see about the younger kids. All right, over here is the light table. The light table is from Whitney Brothers. Yeah. Okay, so it's a 24 by 24 square table. I love this little light table. It's an LED light, and it works great. Somebody asked yesterday if it works well in with the room lights on, and it does. This is what it looks like with the room lights on. And so these are, let me see if I can figure this out. See, I need Gemma. Gemma, why did you leave me? She had to come. So these are ice cube like molds or something. I got them, I think, at the dollar store, but maybe Bed Bath & Beyond because that's next door to my dollar store. And you could freeze them and put them in your drinks so they don't get watered down. But the way that we have them set up is these are plastic folders, like file folders, that you might put in your school supply thing, like the divider things. And we just label them with the colors, and then the kids can sort the colors. So we've done a lot of color sorting in September. That's an important skill. And so they're just going to be sorting these things. I don't know if it's, let's see. Y'all are going to stop watching because I can't figure out the camera. So that's it. So it's just a simple color sorting activity. Let's see. Over here at the Science Center, we're working on the 5 senses.
This one is not quite done. I need to put the cotton balls in the salt shakers. But, oh, and it still says we can listen. Ha! Seriously, I am no good without Gemma. So these we change the verb. And so last week, of course, it was sense of sound. So we had this I can listen. And then we'll just change it to I can smell. So the idea here is that we fill these dollar store salt shakers up with some cotton balls and a couple drops of like vanilla flavoring, you know, from the kitchen, or you know, mint extract, and then keep them closed, and then the kids can smell them and try to figure out what the scent is. So just using their sense of smell. You can get these at the dollar store too for $1. You guys are gonna be like, oh my gosh, Jamie, you need to get Gemma back. Our block center is pretty much the same. Next week, we're going to introduce these unit blocks. So we'll take the lids off of like probably 2 each day and teach them how to sort them by their shape. And then over here is our little math table. And what we have set up are these number bugs. Let's see if we can do this. So, oh my gosh. So these are like little puzzle things, and they come, I just got them like from Learning Resources. They were actually a freebie from the Scholastic bonus catalog if you order Scholastic points. And so the kids just have to count the dots on the bug and then find the correct head. They're color coordinated, so they're pretty easy, and it's just a number counting puzzle game. So pretty simple. There at the Math Center. Our reading, like our small quiet area, is back here. Those are vinyl rain gutters. And I had my husband just drill them into the wall, and then we just line up some books. We still have our beginning of school books back there, but probably in the next week or two we'll change it out to like fall or apples or something like that. So, all right, let me show you the dramatic play area. So our dramatic play area is basically a home living center, but we like to put in different props to encourage the students to be creative. Last week we had out that hamburger and hot dog set, and then this week we put in some additional baby dolls. So we put a couple of strollers over there, put some babies in the high chair. This is kind of like our changing station. So we bought some preemie diapers and some wipes. And they can change the baby's diaper. We put out some bibs and spoons. The bottles are over here. We just cut the nipple off the top so they don't actually suck on them. And just a couple like little pack and play things. Over here in our reading area, we added some board books because they can read their baby. Some baby books, but it's just a little something to just change it up and keep it exciting for our students. So just a little baby dramatic play. So I think that's about it. Let me sit back down. You guys are gonna be like, you're a terrible camera girl. Sorry. I really do better with Gemma here for everything. Anyway, so those are some of the centers that we have set up. Some of them, like the dramatic play, in September it's a little different because we've just been adding different props. But that's more of like a monthly center. The sensory bin filler, we just changed monthly. And then the other ones like this literacy fine motor center, we change every week. We change the sensory tools every week. We try to introduce something new to the block area sort of weekly, or we rotate the toys through just so it's exciting and just intriguing and keeps our kids' interest really peaked. So, oh, fun. You're thinking about doing home preschool? I love it. I told my husband when we opened the preschool in 2005 that I would do it for a couple of years until the kids, our own kids, were in school. And I think now this is our 13th year, so I think he's on to me. I didn't really mean it when I said a couple of years, because it's absolutely the best job in the world. I have no intentions of ever stopping. So, the sentence strips with stars. Oh, that's a good question. Okay, I'll show you. Hold on. Sorry about that. So you're looking at somebody asking a question from the scope and sequence. The sentence strip with stars is our morning work activity for our 3-year-olds. So our pre-K kids work on file folder games, and I've done other videos about that. I can show that again another time. And then our younger kids, so our 3-year-olds,
work on these number stars. Let me pull an easy one. So this is just a sentence strip, and we used letter stickers. And then on the back, I just glued a little tiny envelope. It's like a, I don't know what size, like 2 by 3 by 2 envelope. And then there are stars in there with their letters on them. And so when they arrive in the morning, we have them laying on the carpet, and the kids can just practice matching the letters of their name. They just lay it on top and then spelling their name orally. So this is what we do. Everybody's getting their backpacks hung up and getting settled as an arrival activity with our younger preschool class. We always have some kind of a name activity for them. So this month it's these letter stars. We try to change it monthly, and then I just send these home and let them practice at home. But that was a really good question. Yay. Oh, you haven't watched all the videos. I don't think Gemma's watched all the videos. There's like 300 of them. I don't blame you. Anyway, so this is our morning work. So it's just a little basket of name work. And it, like I said, it changes each month. But our goal with our threes is that they can first recognize their name, that they can spell it orally with a model, and that without looking at a model, they can still spell it orally. So those are our literacy name goals for our younger kids. So that's a great idea to use your Cricut. Erica said she uses her Cricut to cut out different shapes. That's the nice thing about this particular activity, is that sometimes we keep the sentence strip the same, and like in September it's these stars, and then at the end of the month I can just send the stars home and fill up the envelope with pumpkins, for October, and then send that home and fill it up with leaves or turkeys or something. So if your kids are still working on just being able to match the letters, this is a good one because you don't have to redo the whole thing. I think we have scheduled this one for 2 months, but I'm not 100% sure. If you're looking at the scope and sequence, oh, I've got mine right here. I think it's 2 months. I think this month it's the sentence strip with the stars, and then next month in October we'll do the sentence strips with the pumpkins and leaves. And then we switch to something else, like they read their name in a name book. I've done other videos on that one, so I can leave a link if that's interesting to you. So, how many months do you use the sentence strips? So we have a different name arrival activity every month, one for September, one for October. And I have scheduled these sentence strips for 2 months. So we'll do these for September and October. If you have younger kids, like if you have 2.5s, they're actually really good at this. So the very first day we introduced this to our 3-year-olds, they all were able to match their letters. It was amazing. So if you have younger kids, though, you could do this like the whole year and just change out the shapes. Just change the shape each month. Yeah, where do you get the long sentence strips? I have a great teacher store that has them, but you could also get them at Office Depot, or you could get them online at Amazon or at OfficeDepot.com, which is where they do free delivery, so I get all kinds of stuff from them. So they have these really long ones that are like, oh, I don't know, what are they, like 2 feet maybe? As long as my arm. And then I also bought some half sizes that I use a lot for my pocket chart, so they're good for shorter names. So anyway, if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to hop back on and answer them for you. In the meantime, I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have fun, as always, playing and learning with your kids. Gemma and I will be back again next week. Thank you for joining us. Bye, everybody.